Greetings, dear viewer. Thank you so much for joining us once again on yet another episode of Women Engage. For those who are joining us for the first time, welcome. And as we learn about womanhood and the things that are basically affecting the modern day woman at the feet of Jesus. So welcome, and those who are our recurring viewers, welcome back and thank you for joining us. My name is Efi Joanna Tieno, and today we are talking about building strong relationships. You know, relationships that don't crumble like some of your Nairobi relationships. So I'll just allow our guests to introduce themselves and then we can start from there. I'll start with you, Ken.
My name is Rose Misati. I'm happy to be here once again.
Thank you so much, Daktari. Yes.
My name is Bisase Mora. Great to be here with you.
Thank you so much. One thing they failed to say, both of them, this is Dr. Rose and that is Dr. Bisase. I don't know why they don't want to say their titles because I call myself Wakili everywhere. So thank you so much for joining us. It's lovely having you guys again. Welcome back on set. So we'll just go straight into our discussion today. And the first question to just kickstart, what do we need to build strong relationships, or what is strong relationship founded on, in your opinion? I'll start with you.
Thank you so much. And by the way, even before I talk about it, I just want to declare that Bisase and I have been friends for over 25 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay. And our friendship has gone through transitions, and I'm very grateful for what we have enjoyed. So I think I need to say that. I don't know whether this was deliberate. When I saw her and me on set, I'm like, did somebody leak? I wonder.
I'm also wondering, I'm surprised that you're actually seated together.
You thought it's intentional?
I'm wondering. I thought someone knew about our relationship.
I don't think so, but now this is something to unpack.
It's interesting. It's interesting. So anyway, I'm very, very grateful also to be tackling the topic with her. So the question is what it takes to have strong relationships. Personally, what I've learned over time, and my answer could have been different if you asked me this last year.
But several years ago.
Several years ago, my answer could have been very different. But right now, what I can say it takes is not having unrealistic expectations, managing your expectations of the other person. Because previously I thought as a friend I'm entitled to this and that. But now I have learned that I'm not entitled to anything. It's a blessing if you decide to do this to me, you know, to call me, to share information, it's a blessing. So I take it as a blessing. So I've gotten over my entitlement. And I've also learned that nobody owes me anything. So tied to that. So when I receive with gratitude. That is my response. Previously, I would have talked more about the other person, but I've now learned that it takes me to have healthy and strong relationships.
Wow, that comes with age.
It comes with age and with time. Additionally, I've also come to realize that time is a currency of relationships. So I don't expect that I will sit back and everyone should owe me everything. So I need to also go out and invest my time and listen. It has come also with listening skills, that I should not be the one voicing all the time in relationships. I need to also sit back and hear the other person. Comes with trust and complete nakedness. Our relationship has been one of complete openness. Yes.
Exactly. And totally to agree with you, because sometimes we may be out of touch for long because life happens. Previously, the time we talk, I'll be like, you've been so quiet, you don't reach out to me, to many other people even. But now I've learned, I'm like, how have you been? Because I don't know what somebody has been through. You have children, you have a husband, you have a family, you have work. I can be here thinking, she's not talking to me. But can I listen and find out how has it been like for you? Because it's not about me. It's really about me in the world. And it's about many other things and many other people and whatever that is happening. Yeah, so totally agree with her. Complete honesty. You know, so that then you're naked and not ashamed. Otherwise, if you're not emotionally naked before somebody, you cannot get to know them, they cannot know you, and you cannot develop deep intimacy.
And you know, as you're speaking about your friendship, I'm just remembering, just recently I was having a conversation with my friend, and she told me she would rather have a reliable friend than a consistent friend. We don't have to talk every day on phone. Just know I'm your friend. When you need me, call me, I'll be there. I don't have to be, you know, every day we are chatting, catching up. So with age, we have work, we have children, we have all that. There's so much going on with adulting. Now, there's something you've mentioned about having realistic expectations for your friends. and not having, you know, don't over-expect from your friends or have unrealistic expectations from your friends. And I think that's something that goes underrated in relationships, not just with your friends, even with spouses and boyfriends and partners and all that, because you tend to expect so much from them. So how is it, or what's the one thing you've done to strengthen your relationships while managing your expectation?
Yeah, you're very right. So previously, if I would call her, for example, I'm going through something, I expect her to pick the call and just talk to me because I need to talk. Then I would call several times maybe and send her a message. I'm like, can we talk? We need to talk. And if it's taking long, I'm like, does she even care? Like, how can she take 3 hours when I'm in distress? But then I realize, yes, I'm in distress, but she's also in something. So the thing is, when I want to talk, I'll call once, maybe maximum twice. If she's not picking, I say, when you're available, can we talk? So what I have done is that I've also cultivated other people to talk to. It's not just her, but I need to also have other people. I need to calibrate. That's a word in chemistry, where you calibrate your expectations. You know that I have this person, I have the other person. So personally, that is what I've also done, and I'm training my children. As I said earlier, in an earlier episode, I said this, that when you're trying to reach me and you can't reach me, and maybe you are in distress, like you really need something, get other people who can meet that need. Because if you're only relying on me, you'll get frustrated. And when things go wrong, you'll keep feeling, but why? But why didn't this person call me? So for me, that has really worked.
And actually now that brings the issue of now emotional intelligence, that you're able to be aware, identify your own emotions and the emotions of the other person, and be able to calibrate them so that you don't expect too much from the other person, having known what it takes. And in addition, what I've also come to realize that is very important in relationships and not expecting much is my own self-image. What I have put on myself, what I've packaged, and in going out with it. Am I working with a perfume that is smelling nice, rosy, or one that is stinking, that everyone disappears along the way? And of course that comes with experiences we've had in life, interacting with other people, maybe even from our own childhood, what we had people say and what we interpreted that to be. And sometimes we tend to have some negative self-talk. And that self-talk really gets into us deeply, that we are not able to develop a relationship with someone. So say, for example, she will say something to me and I decide I'm going to interpret it differently. And yet, that's not what you meant. And then that brings friction. And for sure, there's no way that relationship will grow. So when I have a positive self-image, then relating with Rose becomes very easy. And then we become open. And trust builds along the way. So whenever we are away from each other, and which has happened because now life has happened to both of us. If someone will say something about Rose, because I trust her, I will go out to defend and say, no, that is not the person I know.
By the way, and I just allow me to comment, I was thinking in my head about what you've just said, that there have been times when people have said things about me because I tend to be more extroverted of the two of us. I tend to easily express my opinion in many places. But one thing I thank God for in you that I've rarely seen in many other people, that's why you're very special to me. You have gone out of your way to say, no, the Rose that I know, I don't think she can do that. You know, that is very special, because other people will be part of it. They'll be like, she did, and she did, and she did. But you're like, no, unless things have changed. But the person that I know, that's not the case. And on the positive self-talk, you know, not taking things personal. When somebody is saying something, it could be because of what they are going through. You can send me a message, like now, usually I'm a person who is very much online. But like now when I'm on set, I'm offline for a while. And you can send me a message and you see I've not read, I've not responded. But then if you're somebody who has negative self-talk, you'll say, oh, so she has ignored me. And the way she's usually on her phone, she has ignored me. But if you notice, you'll be like, what could be happening? You know, the person that I know could have responded by now. Let me find out, are you okay?
And so that now she's active, I'm the opposite. It will take me so long to even get to those messages.
That's true.
Someone else will interpret and decide, Bisase is very arrogant or likes ignoring people, so she can't keep touch with people. But there are those we have developed relationship over time, and we'll joke and be like, she'll catch up with us next month.
Exactly.
But they know I will catch up at some point. Yes.
Yeah.
Why? They have understood who I am. They understand themselves, who they are. And so we come with our own packages and gel, not expecting the other to rise to the occasion when it is possible. It's not humanly possible at that time.
You know, this paints a very good picture about the reality of relationships, especially as adults. You know, as children, you're there, I can come knock at your house, get your
time, come we play.
But as adults, I'm still this young, but I'm already facing some of those problems. You know, if Ulini Blue Tick, I texted you 3 days ago, okay. Yeah, you and 50 others. I have to literally set time aside in my workday to just go through my WhatsApp messages, you know, and it becomes very difficult because sometimes you're going through things. And one thing with relationships, they're not always rosy, and maybe you might have experienced this at work or even with your friends. Sometimes, you know, you have friends that you just fell out because you just fell out. You are no longer at the same place in life, or your goals were no longer aligning, and that's okay. So how do you navigate unsuccessful relationships? Because I think most people, it creates a lot of resentment. I wouldn't even want to see you when we go to an event. We meet at a wedding with our smallest DA circles. I avoid you. So how do we navigate unsuccessful relationships in the social setting and even in the workplace? Because we work with a diverse group of people.
I think one of the most important skills I have learned over time, and I'm teaching my children, is learning to let go. Learning that life has seasons and reasons, and wisdom is to know when a season has ended so that you don't keep holding on to it, or when you also need to know that the reason for holding on has since ended. It's really painful because we are human beings, and there's definitely an emotional need. The friendship was meeting. But teaching yourself to know that probably that season is over, so I need to let go so that I can pave way for other people to get into my life. And I'm a person who believes in having difficult conversations. Sometimes if you're in a place whereby something is happening and you're just not getting it, it's okay to ask. I notice that we are not talking as much. I notice that maybe you're not as communicative. Is there something I need to know? If somebody can share that there's something you need to know, you're able to thrash it. But if they are not, then you let go. I've had friendships like that. I've called them, I need us to talk, but I've either not met or not been comfortable, and I've painfully released the friendships to go. It's painful, but at the end of it, when I'm on the other side, I thank God, and I do not necessarily demonize anybody, the other person or myself. I just know that the season has ended. So I need to embrace the new season in my life, because we don't remain the same. We also go through transitions that change us. Yeah, so we need to accept.
Oh, wow. Accept and move on.
Yes, I agree. And as she was talking about painfully releasing, in my experience, it's also been the same. I will try to reach out first. Give it time. See, is there anything that can be done to fan up the fire and rekindle the relationship? Unfortunately, there are moments you realize the other person you're dealing with is not yet ready to have that tough discussion. And so it calls for lots of grace and prayer to actually come to terms with what is happening at that point in time with that relationship. It has happened with colleagues, it has happened with friends, it has happened with family members, extended family members. And you reach out and you do what is humanly possible. And at that point, you release it to the Lord. For sure, this I have tried. But now help me heal. Because it's also painful, to let go of a friendship that you have invested in with time, you have invested with maybe money. And you have invested many things in that. And so breaking the emotional attachment is quite a difficult journey. And as one realizes that, yes, I have done my best, I don't go beating myself guilty that you did things wrong, release a person such that later in life when we meet, we can still greet each other and say, hello, how are you doing? It's okay. We'll talk about the weather, but we might not get deep in that conversation. So we'll pass. Our children will meet, say hi with each other. It doesn't mean that if I am not in good terms with Rose, for example, our children should get into the mix.
They have their separate
let them also have their own separate relationship. If we are not talking terms, and our children have decided it's okay, we are friends, we shall look painfully and allow them to continue with their relationship, but not interfere and bring in intoxications that, that lady did what. They are separate beings altogether, and so we should not puppet them. No.
Yeah. But we'd be surprised how much that happens, even in the family setup.
Exactly.
My auntie and my mom didn't get along. Me and my cousins,
you inherit grudges, and you perpetuate them grudges to the next generation. It's really painful.
Yeah, but it happens.
Yeah. There are different levels of friendships, and what I'm seeing with the current, shall I say, current generation, the challenge is trust. So we are in a situation whereby, in as much as we think these are my inner circle of friends, trust is still a problem in there. We are not open enough to each other. We are not being able to be naked and say, this is who I am with my own weaknesses. Accept me as I am. But we try to modify and become a different Bisase when I meet with you, and then I'm a different Bisase when I meet with her. And so someone gets confused, who is this girl at the end of the day? But now that genuineness of being a true person in and of myself first, as I relate with others, then it becomes very key. Trust now will come in, and of course those levels of friendships will be there. We cannot be all at the same level.
Interesting you say that, because when my children tell me about their friends, I ask, where do they live? And then someone is telling me, I have no idea.
I don't know.
Excuse me, this is your friend, you have no idea. Then I ask,
how many are they in their family?
How many are they in their
family?
I
do not know.
I don't know.
Who's the mother?
I don't know. Who is their dad? I don't know. What's their birth position? I don't know. And this is your friend. So I normally ask, but what do you talk about? Because for me, I'm like, the day we met, you knew my siblings, I mean the number, my birth position, my home area, parents, even if you've not met them. But the way I talk about them, you have an idea. So now that's what I want. I'm like, a friend? And you don't know their home? Like if you were meant to go to their home, you'd also be asking, like the way I would be asking.
How embarrassing. How embarrassing. And yet you're the one who should be leading the convoy to that place.
So the trust part, I think I agree. So maybe even getting to understand the definition of what's a friend. Because somebody can be going through stuff and I'm like, does your friend know? No, that's why we're having mental health issues.
Exactly.
You find somebody is taking away their life and they have written a note. Imagine their best friend doesn't know what they have been going through for 2 years. Their family members, nobody knows. People share with me stories and I ask, please tell me, does anybody know this? Not a single soul. You are the first one. And this is a real issue that they have been carrying for years.
And yet, if you ask if they are friends, yes, I do have friends.
Exactly.
How many? 3, 5. No, is there any close friend? Yes, I have one. Do they know?
No, they don't. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, this conversation, guys, I hope you will enjoy it as much as I am, because these ones are playing, these ones are catching up, and I'm just here moderating the catch-up session. So there's something in the course of looking at strengthening and even building relationships, there was something that comes out very highly. Establishing boundaries. And that is something people just don't talk about as often, because they feel if you're my friend, you can do anything, you can come to my house whenever. How do we ensure we have healthy boundaries but still maintaining solid or stable friendships?
There is no healthy relationship without
boundaries.
Even expecting someone to be like you, just like what she has said, we are totally different. Like me, I'm very fast on internet, whatever responding. She's not like that. I'm very expressive, even my dressing. She's not like that. So if I expected her to be like me, dress like me, do things like me, speak like me, we would not be friends. But it's about accepting that this is you. I honor you. I celebrate you. I respect you. I let you to be you. So first of all. Then secondly, it's to say, I can't call her anytime and say, can we catch up for dinner? She could be having plans. So it's to say, is it okay? When? Let's work with the schedule. So setting boundaries is critically important, because you have to know where you end and where the other person begins. And as you begin to set boundaries, if you haven't done it before, some relationships are going to go. Because some people are going to be frustrated. They'll get angry, they'll push back. Because they're like, they want to be so much in you. Even when it comes to marital relationships, you can't sustain a marriage when you're so much into each other. You have to know you end here, your partner begins there. So it's critically important. Respect
is very important, because I need to respect myself first. I cannot go visiting her, for example, and decide, because since we've been friends for more than 25 years, that I can get to her bedroom.
I just pop in, bedroom,
I
kitchen,
see how
fix something.
No. We need to understand that, yes, she's also a being in herself, and there are some things she holds dearly. So respecting that boundary is very key. And so when we meet and catch up, having respected myself, and I know I have a positive self-image, then meeting with her now becomes a relationship where we are catching up to continue where we left. Not that you have been out of my life forever.
Yeah.
So I am holding a grudge against you. And so you needed to have known 1, 2, 3 things. And you need to arrive at my place at this particular time when I really need you. Yeah.
Okay.
Respect.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
There is no relationship without boundaries.
And you cannot sustain. You can't
can't.
sustain a relationship for long because it's going to be enmeshed. It's going to be codependent. You're going to wear each other. You will be exhausted. And you know, even when you know that, like for example, as I said, I'm extroverted. Me, I can talk about many of my personal stuff easily, let's say, but I know for her, she's not like that. So when I know that, you know, for her, this is her, I respect her that way. You know, even when it comes to like even my own family, you know, I have children, some are very introverted, some are extroverted. So I know if I'm giving an example in my speaking engagements, there are those I cannot use as an example because they have asked to be respected. So there's that who doesn't mind. I can even talk about something mischievous he did and he's fine and he laughs. But another one, if I say, I have to answer. They say, who told you to speak about me? So I respect. I just say, him is like that. It's not wrong or right. He is. Me, I am like that. It's not wrong or right. That's me. That's him. We respect each other.
And I'm sure that has come over time and learned now to listen. To listen to the other person. What are their boundaries? Because people can be expressive and be able, with your judgment, you'll be able to discern this person does not like being taken this far.
Exactly.
So let me move this much. And give it time, of course, so that your trust can also build over time and you continue building on that relationship. It's like a plant that you will need to keep on watering. You may need to prune here and there. It's painful when it's time for pruning, but the fruits are good.
Exactly. Yes. Enjoy the fruits.
Okay. Now, as we conclude this conversation or this catch up, as I want to call it, we will meet Nyuma tent after this. As we conclude this conversation, maybe you can just speak to your audience. That's your camera. That's your camera. You can just tell us how we navigate, because we are sometimes, as Christian women, working women, family women, we are encompassed in different relationships which require very different dynamics. Your relationships with your friends at church is not the same as your relationships with your friends in the office. Is not the same with your family, your in-laws, with your children's friends. So how then would you tell someone out there in just a minute, each of you, how to navigate all this and make sure you're not, number one, spread too thin, and number two, managing your expectations, and finally, to make sure you're not getting overwhelmed, that your friendships become like a chore?
So first of all, for me, what has been very important is having a healthy relationship with myself. I must, if I don't have a healthy relationship with myself, it's virtually impossible to have a healthy relationship with other people. So first I have a healthy relationship. I take care of myself. I listen to myself and I communicate my needs. I'm like, can we talk? You know, I need help. And then the other thing, of course, with God, knowing that God is God is constant. He will never leave me nor forsake me. And then once that's the case, I present myself, my authentic version. I don't do cards under the table. So if I'm with you, you are seeing me today, this is the person. I won't change like, you know, a chameleon that tomorrow you're going to deal with another person. So I've presented myself to friends and to the world as the person that I am. So you will take me or leave. You know, so if you take me and we are friends, I try to be consistent. I'm not perfect, but I try to be consistent as I can. If I'm not able to make it for you at that time, I just say, imagine it's not possible. Can we do this another time? So that for me has been very, very important. And also even letting go. When I feel like some situations are not working for me, I release those situations painfully, but I do. Because I'm also not talking about being spread thin. We can pick friends and situations along the way and get overwhelmed. So I am learning how to let go and how to understand the seasons of my life.
Wow. That is profound. Thank you so much. Yes, Tari.
Christ has been my teacher in this journey of developing relationships. And I have learned over time that I'm not able to please everyone.
Yes.
And so with that realization, I have managed my expectations also from the other people, that they will also not please me the way I expect them to do so. So what then is there? I will go out, spend time with myself. It's very important to actually spend time with myself, realize that I'm a human being, I have my own weaknesses, I have areas to work on and improve on. And then relate with others, having created boundaries. They know how much they can get into my life. And so open that space. There are many categories, yes, at work, at home, at school, many areas of interactions. All of them will know Bisase as she is. Give them airspace to negotiate. I am a very good listener.
I agree.
I will listen. I will listen and be able to package things differently. I've not been able to carry emotions along the way, partly because I've been able to disintegrate and empathize accordingly. And so listening and talking less has been of value in my relationships. And I'm sure most of my friends have noticed I listen a lot. By the time I open my mouth to talk, it has to be a candid conversation. Very tough at times, very tough it can be, but openness is very key to me, and trust. I get wounded when someone takes advantage of my trust and patience.
Wow. Thank you so much, dear viewer. If you forget everything we've talked about, don't forget. These two have a beautiful relationship. And also, it's important to be very self-aware and establish strong boundaries, because no friendship survives without boundaries. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for coming on board today. This was a beautiful conversation. I wish we had more time, but I can see someone there is going to sniff the life out of me if I take any more time. So thank you so much, dear viewer, for joining us on this episode as we talk about navigating and building strong relationships. And as we navigate our relationships in church, in school, in our workplaces, understand the dynamics, understand yourself, understand the surroundings. That's all from us. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you in our subsequent episodes. Be sure to catch us on Hope Media Network ECD on all our social media platforms, and on your TV you can find us on Hope Channel. Thank you so much. That is all from us. Goodbye.